What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Andy Ruiz, the WBO, the IBF, the WBA, and the IBO heavyweight champion of the world, has just told Team Joshua that, hey, you want me to fight in the UK? All right, I'll fight in the UK, but it's going to cost you $50 million. $50 million. You know what I'm saying? Don't that sound familiar? As I recall, about a year and a half ago, didn't Andy Joshua get on his Twitter account and do a video and say, hey, man, you give me, if you guys are saying the Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder fight is worth $100 million, give me $50 million, I'll sign tomorrow. And then shortly after, Deontay Wilder posted a video saying, hey, we got your $50 million. Check your account, check your page, and we got the $50 million for you. And then he started backpedaling and moonwalking and going back on his word and said, I don't want to sell my soul, and you know what's gonna happen if I go to the US. I'm gonna have to, Eddie Hearn was saying I'm gonna have to wear pink trunks, and I'm gonna have to do backflips, and and do all kind of crazy and weird stuff he was trying to say. And it turned out to be that was just a bunch of BS, just to sidetrack people because you didn't really want to fight. Okay, now the table's been turned. The table's been turned. $50 million. I'm sure in the contract they had that, the rematch, they would have the right of first refusal as far as whether rematch would be take place, and they want the rematch to take place in the UK. But they might have didn't have, how much they would be paying Andy Ruiz in the rematch. So they might have left that, left that as far as left that open for discussion. So Andy Ruiz wants $50 million. You feel me? $50 million. That's what it's going to cost. If not, they might have to end up having that fight in the US. Maybe in LA or maybe in Las Vegas. So we'll see what happens, man. But Eddie Hearn and them, y'all got a dilemma. That's what you call a dilemma. You guys have. You guys played the strong A side. You made. You got offered $50 million and 50-50 on the back end to fight Wilder about a year and a half ago. You didn't take that. Now the table's been turned, man. So we'll see what happens, man. It's kind of funny, Eddie Hearn did a interview, talking about Deontay Wilder. I guess he was mad because Deontay Wilder's, made some comments last week after Joshua lost, saying after Joshua quit and after Joshua was a fraud, and now we know who was running from who. Eddie Hearn took umbrage to that, and now he's coming out saying that Deontay Wilder is lucky that Anthony Joshua was a heavyweight champion because he built his name off of Anthony Joshua. He built his brand and built his profile off the back of Anthony Joshua. That's basically what Eddie Hearn said. Out there hating. You notice when Deontay Wilder said some stuff about AJ, it's never AJ coming back and saying anything. It's always his promoter, Eddie Hearn. The problem is Eddie Hearn ain't got to get in the ring. He ultimately don't have to get in the ring and fight to fight. He run his mouth and talk, while AJ stay in the background and keep quiet and stuff like that. And Eddie Hearn's not throwing no punch. Eddie Hearn, AJ needs to, man. I guess I don't know. AJ's got to tell Eddie Hearn to fall back, man. Basically, he got to tell him to fall back. Why are you always in the news? Why are you always doing these interviews? You're trying to be a celebrity promoter. You're always talking. You do more talking than a fighter does, and you ain't got to throw a punch. And you ain't putting your life on the line in the ring, man. You're doing all this talking. You're bumping your gums and stuff like that, man. Hush up. But as we found out here recently, I knew a while back ago that AJ has pretty much got a slave contract with Eddie Hearn. He has no say-so on who he fights. He has no say-so on how much money he makes. Matchroom controls all that. They tell him who he fights, how much money he gonna make, and he just got to train, get ready for the fight. Some guys maybe he don't want that responsibility. Maybe he want people running his affairs, and he just got to worry about training and getting in the ring and fighting. But that's the difference between him and Al Hammond fighters. Al Hammond fighters have control of their own careers. Al Hammond might give them guys maybe 3 fighters that they can fight, and they can select one of those 3 fighters. But he doesn't have ultimate say so of who they got to fight and how much money they got can make. They negotiate what they can make, and basically what they negotiate is what they're gonna what's the base minimum what they're gonna make in a fight. But they've got all kind of other avenues to make the money on top of the money they actually making as far as their base. You know, they're getting revenue from the ticket sales. They're probably getting revenues from concessions. You know, a lot of those guys have their own promotional companies, so they've given revenue from that. So it's a lot of different revenue streams they're getting beside their base minimum salary they're getting for the fight. And that's just between those fighters under Al Heyman and AJ under Eddie Hearn. He's basically getting a set amount of what he's going to make, and he's basically been told who to fight. He doesn't have any say-so. Even if he did want to fight Wilder in September last year when Wilder and them team agreed to take the $15 million. Eddie Hearn did not want that fight. Eddie Hearn wanted AJ to fight Povetkin, and that's who AJ ended up fighting, Povetkin. So he has no say-so. Eddie Hearn is out here, you know, mad, you know, don't know what to do with himself because he's in a bad spot right now. He's caught between a rock and a hard place, and he's out here lashing out once again, talking for AJ, trying to call Deontay Wilder out, talking about nobody knows who Deontay Wilder is. Deontay Wilder, you know, turned down $100 million to fight AJ. You know, he's just mad because he didn't get a chance to make that $100 million because he turned it down to fight AJ. And it's just out here spreading propaganda again. You know, everybody know that AJ is not even signed to the zone. AJ's got an exclusive contract with Matchroom, just like how AJ and Barry Hearn want it. They don't want him signed to no other entity for any kind of multi-fight, multi-year deal. They want to have exclusive control over Anthony Joshua. You know, no matter what they tell you, oh, AJ, he's going to sign with the zone. He's going to sign a multi-fight deal with the zone. I see it when I believe it. I think he's going to still be on basically a fight-by-fight basis with the zone. You see what I'm saying? They want exclusive power and power of attorney over AJ and who he, you know, how much he makes and who he fights. You know, it's basically like I was saying, it's a slave contract that Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing has with Anthony Joshua. It's a shame, man. All this stuff is coming to light, man. But you kind of seen it, man. You even seen it in a recent interview right before the Andy Ruiz fight, man. AJ was trying to make a scenario when the Wilder Luis Ortiz rematch got announced. AJ was at a table sitting with some reporters answering questions. He said, you know, how would you guys think if I fought Povetkin again? You know, I fought him in a rematch. You know, Wilder's already fought and knocked out Luis Ortiz. You know, and he don't seem like anybody's criticizing him taking that fight over having a fight with me for undisputed. Basically, what AJ was saying. If I fought Povetkin again, I would get really criticized. You see what I'm saying? He was trying to compare the two fighters. You know, compare the two matchups. If I fought Povetkin again, I would get criticized. And here it is, Wilder's going to fight Ruiz. Fight Ortiz again, and he's not getting criticized. And right after he said that, you know, here Eddie Hearn in the background listening to AJ do the interview. He said, oh, no, we're not fighting Povetkin. We're not fighting Povetkin. And AJ kind of, you know, looks all like, oh, you know, yeah, I was just making that as an example. I know I'm not fighting Eddie. You know, I know I'm not fighting Povetkin in a rematch. But I just gave you an insight that you know who's calling the shots. Because if AJ was really truly calling the shots, he could be like, hey, I'm going to fight Povetkin again. Give him a rematch. First fight, he hurt me and had me in a little bit of trouble. I was able to knock him out, but I want to give him a second chance, man. You know, he kind of gassed out. A lot of people said in the second half of the fight, I'm going to give him a chance to maybe improve his stamina and come back and fight me in a rematch, and I can beat him again and beat him more impressively. He could have either said that he was really calling the shots, but he was just using that as an example. And then Eddie quickly squashed that and said, no, we're not fighting Povetkin again. So they let you know who's calling the shots, who's got the power of attorney over AJ. AJ is not his own boss. You know, and Deontay Wilder is his own boss. And everything that Eddie Hearn accused Wilder of is actually is what AJ is basically. It's what AJ is up under Eddie. He says Wilder doesn't have control. He's listening to the wrong people. He signed a multi-fight deal with Showtime. You know, Al and Shelly Finkel, they got control over Deontay. He's not making his own decision. In actuality, that's what AJ. That's the situation that he's in. Not Wilder. Wilder's his own boss. AJ don't have no say-so on who he's going to fight. He doesn't have really no say-so over, you know, he can't negotiate, you know, how much money he's going to get in the fight. He's pretty much whatever Matchroom offer, you know, gives him, that's what he goes with. You know, he was able to allegedly get a $32 million deal with the zone for the Andy Ruiz fight. I'd be interested to see if Matchroom got any of the cut of that 32 million. I would have a hard time believing that Anthony Joshua got, the majority of that 32 million. I think probably when everybody got their cut and got their percentages out of it, Anthony Joshua probably went home with probably $10 million, probably at the most, 10 million at the most. So that's so if you talk about a guy that's listening to the wrong people or whatever, don't have no say so or who they fight, and other people making all the decisions as far as their career is concerned, it's not Deontay Wilder, it's Anthony Joshua. So we'll see what happens, man. Like I say, Andy Ruiz told you guys what the price is. It's $50 million. If you want me to fight in the UK, it's $50 million. You know what I'm saying? We'll see what happens, man. The fight actually would do better, in my opinion, if it's in the US and you put it on pay-per-view. Put it on Showtime pay-per-view or put it on Fox pay-per-view. The fight will probably, I think the fight will probably do at least 500,000. I'm just being, I'm setting it at a minimum of 500,000. That's probably a little bit too low, but let's just say, just for basis, 500,000. Manny versus Adrian Broner. Manny is still a huge pay-per-view star. Did about 400,000. So just say this fight does at least 500,000, and you sell this fight at 500,000 time and 80, and maybe make it $79.99, basically $80 for the pay-per-view. This fight would do huge numbers. You're saying you're talking about at least around $40 million in revenue on the pay-per-view, and then you put that with the live gate and the sponsors and all that, man. This fight can generate a whole lot of money. And then you can talk, it'll actually do way more revenue than it do in the UK. Put it on at 5 o'clock in the afternoon US time. You put it on an app, an app that allegedly only did 5,000 in the first fight between Ruiz and Joshua. You put it on the app, you're limiting yourself. Will John Skipper be willing to put up a lot of money like he did in this first fight as far as paying AJ $32 million? And I assume Ruiz probably got around about 4 or 5 million, somewhere in that range for the fight. So you say they did about 35 million he had to pay between the two fighters in a rematch. The zone would actually put up more than that. They had to put up probably at least 50 million for that fight for both guys. If just because of the fight is going to draw a lot of interest. Even though it's on the app, it's going to be limited. Both fighters are going to be wanting more money, so you're probably looking at least 50 million between the two fighters. It's probably have to be at least a 50-50 split, 25 for Ruiz and 25 for AJ, at least, because right now, Ruiz is an undisputed heavyweight champion, so he would deserve at least 50-50, if not more than Joshua. So we'll see what happens, man. I think the fight makes more sense on pay-per-view, man. Put it on Showtime or Fox. Put it up. It'll be a big fight over in Las Vegas or even LA. And like I said, it'll do at least $500,000, and that's in that time 80 times $500,000. That's at least 40 million right there. They could do, but I'm just saying that I'm just using the minimum. Fight could potentially do more than that. So you're looking at least 40 million, maybe up to around 50 million as far as how much the fight will generate. So we'll see what happens, man. But again, Ruiz told you the price, 50 million. And if you want to pay that 50 million, you probably need to pay that 50 million if you want him to come to the UK, man. That's his price. So Al Heyman, you guys obviously that Andy Ruiz has been speaking with his people and speaking with Al Heyman, and Al Heyman said, okay, if they want you to go to UK, ask for 50 million. Just like the 50 million that we offered them for the Wilder fight and they turned down, we're going to see if they accept this 50 million that we're going to need to come to the UK. Turnabout is fair play. You understand what I'm saying? Turnabout is fair play, man. You know what I'm saying? It's you know what I'm saying? The tables has been turned, man. The script has been flipped. As Dr. Dre said, I'm gonna flip the script, and that's what Andy Ruiz and Al Heyman have done. They flipped the script on Eddie Hearn and AJ. So we'll see what happens. Okay, we'll see what happens. And I'm about to get up out of here, man. Just let you just updating you on what's going on as far as Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua rematch, and like I said, Andy Ruiz has came out yesterday on the interview. On a YouTube interview and said that he wants 50 million if y'all want the fight to take place in the UK. So we'll see what happens, man. I'm about to get up out of here. Again, this is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.